Hello, and welcome to my GIS503 presentation. My name is Alex Arica, and I have built you a basic model builder tool that's great for analyzing Toronto and any other city with lots of rivers. So what I started with is, I wanted to be able to compare 3 rivers at a time. You can compare 2 rivers at a time, and that's great. There's tools for that in ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Online even. But if you want to do 3 at a time, you have to do the same thing 3 times over. These 2, those 2, these 2. I'm looking at Etobicoke Rivers here as an example because it's closest to where I live. And what I wanted to do is save a bit of time, make a tool that combines those 3. And then I thought, you know what, that's too simple. I can go further. So I made a nested tool that does a few of these operations at once. What it does is it starts with a 3-way comparison for lines, and then it adds a 3-way comparison for the statistics of the lines, and you get twice as many outputs for about half as much work. Something that would normally take you half an hour to do can now be done in about 5 minutes. Not bad for efficiency, right? You also get some buffer outputs because line statistics, which is the sub-operation I chose for this tool, gives you buffers, raster-based buffers. And since I was working with areas, I thought, you know what, why not finish the job, make area-based polygons. I arbitrarily chose highways as a bounding point. Could have used water, could have used city borders. Doesn't really matter that much for this case. But I did an extra comparison within my tool for area. And I thought, wow, okay, great. I wanted to include split by attributes in case you don't have all the rivers or line parcels in your study area as separate feature layers. The problem is, this tool gives you an indefinite number of outputs. There is no way to really tell based on the input parameters and numbers you give it how many outputs you have, so it's kind of impossible to properly parameterize it for this purpose. Still though, you get a tool that does 7 operations with only 1 tool. You still have to input all the values, sure, but you don't spend as long clicking between different tools and making sure you have all the numbers written down. It all comes to you at once, all the statistics and all the output layers. So that's pretty great. Here's the overall tool. I'll zoom in a bit. As you can see, it doesn't actually break the nesting down as it did in our class lab, and that's because the separate parts of the tool don't actually interact with each other. It's nested in the sense that it's a sum of many different models in one tool. So yeah, it's not as inherently constructive, but it is still a good time saver, and if you're working in Toronto or something else, it's useful to be able to get basic comparisons on your rivers or your lands and so on. What I was really hoping for was to be able to return the exact numerical differences between the areas and the rivers. I came short because there isn't a built-in tool for that. You'd actually have to program that. But it is something I'm considering expanding on for my own work, and in order to maybe make a portfolio out of this one day. Keeping an eye on the time because it's been 3 minutes, I'd like to also show you a bit about the actual things I've published. So these are pretty simple. I have 2 packages and 1 template which contain the tool. If you want to use them yourself, just go ahead and look up multifunctional comparison tool or final project package. You know what, I can name this better. We're going to call it multi-comparison tool as well. And that's a big name for something that is overall relatively simple, but still, it's a time saver, and that is really what Model Builder is all about. I go into a great deal of detail discussing this and how exactly it's useful and how exactly it saves time in my report. Again, I admit it's not a perfect product and it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but it does its job and it's kind of neat. It looks nice, it's pretty, and it's simple. So I thought it was a good choice and I got it to work pretty damn smoothly. Alright, thank you for watching or listening to my presentation. I'm a bit short of 4 minutes, but that's alright. I hope you had fun and learned a bit, and I'm curious to see your own projects myself. Thank you.